I know some of y'all haven't watched this video because you would have commented by now that this is actually 62 videos in one video, my current magnum opus of YouTube. So we're doing the thing where we kind of review our past year in YouTube specifically. Last year's video was like 20 minutes long. I'm going to try and make this one quicker because while I'm going to keep a channel focused, there was a significant thing that happened this year that did impact the channel after all, and its future, which we'll get into. And I think you know what it is. So first of all, backlog videos, had some TTT stuff. Mitchie was a VTuber model, which is why that's in the thumbnail, so that's not as clickbaity, yeah, or baity as some people might seem. Final Fantasy, some of the first times we got to use VR properly. I didn't get the audio part done properly. I know I do that nowadays, but back then I didn't. So that's why you see this. Good times back then. In the preview, you can see Battle, Digi, and Capson, as a matter of fact. I think it's been a year now since then. At the point of recording this video, it is 12 something in the morning on New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve. Did a Kakashi video that was pretty fun, that did pretty well, that I did on TikTok technically 4 years ago, brought it over here, and it did way better. I made a parody video of the retirement videos that YouTubers were kind of like making, and they had the reasons to make it and stuff like that, but my video was basically like, we can't retire, we're not there yet. We haven't built something to retire off of in terms of like a legacy. I know some people are like, people worry too much about legacy, but it's okay to worry like a little bit about it. Just don't make it your whole personality and everything you do. That's when it becomes a problem. That's when it becomes like a yikes situation. But a lot of January and into February was actually a backlog until we hit Poppy Playtime Chapter 3. That series did alright. YouTubers nowadays, the big ones, don't have to rush to do a new game as soon as it comes out, so they can take their time to put it out. And the nice thing about that then being is a smaller ones, we can rush to make our videos because there's a supply and demand, and because there's a massive demand, we can give a bit of a supply first before they kind of come in. And I think it's like a nice kind of unspoken cool thing between the smaller creators and bigger creators when it comes to the gaming space at this point. So, there was that. I made a Shadow is an Edgy video, which is more about like just the history of Shadow at the time, because the year of Shadow, we had the trailer for Shadow Generations and stuff like that. I wanted an excuse to kind of break down everything we knew at the time about Shadow's past, from the creation of the arc itself all the way through Mephiles the Dark, essentially, which is why the video is so long. I did kind of talk about edginess, I guess. I do think edginess tends to be overused. I do think that when a character has actually gone through significant stuff, they maybe have a reason to brood a little bit, right? Like Batman, in a lot of canons, not only did he lose his parents, but he actually blames himself for the death of his parents, right? Like, that's a sucky feeling, of course, to lose parents if you love them. And then to think it's actually your fault when, certain canons it's his fault because they left the theater and he wanted to go down the alley or he was scared or whatever, right? Like, listen, Superman, I get it. He lost his planet. Boo-hoo. He didn't really know his planet. Let's not act like he was friends with everybody on the block. He was an infant. He didn't know his people. He thought he was an Earthling for like many years anyways. Wonder Woman left her island by choice, okay? Listen, let's just be that. She had a choice. She could have stayed. She decided to leave. There's consequences. 8-year-old Batman didn't get any of that. So I'm just saying. We're a Batman household. But yeah, Windows Movie Maker. We've been using Windows Movie Maker to edit videos, honestly, forever, including in this past year. But we finally did get new video editing software so we could do some new things. So that's what the significance of like this Corey video was an excuse for me to use that new software and also talk about Corey, who he was gone for a year and a half, and it turns out it's because he was off grinding out making a manga, however you want to pronounce it, which is actually really cool. Not gonna lie, that's cool. He's back now. He's also dropping videos. He has some catching up to do on some series if he wants to put out videos on that too. But he's been working, and it's cool to see that he went on one of these breaks and he actually, it was like in my opinion, when he dropped the first video, it just made sense to me. It's like, oh, that's why he's gone. Totally fine. But if he just decided he'd peace out, he has that right, and that would have been fine too. But we got more backlog stuff going down. I'm finally getting VR working properly. We got the Etsuko video, which is entirely Steam's fault in a way. But it was a fun time, honestly speaking. That was a fun video to make. My audio wasn't working perfectly, so credit to Etsuko. I actually went back and spliced her VOD's audio into my audio to kind of help certain things that my audio didn't either pick up correctly or just didn't work. So, kind of a half and half situation, actually, for the record. But that was a fun time. And there was a lot of fun times in those days, like especially behind Battle Disc and stuff. I remember I would just get in VR chat sometimes at night, like 11 o'clock my time. There was one night I'll never forget. It's a very simple night, so to other people it wouldn't even seem that exciting, but I'm riding on the left wing of the egg carrier. It's a World in VR chat in VR while I'm in a call on Discord with Steam and Q. Steam's talking about needles and stuff because he has to stay up for, I think he has to get blood drawn or something like that. And we're just having whole conversations about like how much shots are kind of like, you know, weird, or some of us that don't like them, or others like when did maybe we stop not minding them so much. And then there was a story once where I had to go to the doctor with my sister, who at the time couldn't have been maybe like 4 or 5. So I'm like 16, 17, something like that. Long story short is she did not want to get the shot that she wanted. So it's like, cool, what if I get mine then? Because she had to get like 3 or something like that. I'm like, cool, I'll just get mine, and I'll get mine in front of you to try and show you, you know, how this, if there's a doctor worth their salt, it'll be fine. I didn't want to get my shot either. I'm not going to lie. I just don't like, it's not the pain or anything like that. It's just, I guess it's just the concept of getting stabbed in a world where any other time that I've been attempted stabbed, I've dodged. So it's kind of weird. I don't know. It's kind of like the eye shot machine at the eye doctor. It's like anytime anything's coming at my face, I move. And you want me to try and reflexively hold still. But I did it, and it kind of worked out. And so she was like, oh, okay, you know, so you do that thing when you're an older sibling. Anyways, I remember stuff like that. And to be honest, a lot of fun going into this year and the beginning parts of this year. Sucker for Love, that ended up being a fun series, the first series to edit in the new editing software even. And there was a lot of videos like that were fun to make. I tried, Mitchie got hit by a hurricane, or not a tornado, unfortunately. Destroyed his house and stuff. He had to go fund me. I found a connection between him and Kendrick and Drake. I mean, there's things like that. I'd wake up and I'd plot and I'd plan and I'd come up with ideas, and it was fun in the first half of the year. Certain videos maybe didn't do so well. Like this was a VR chat. We did the probability map with Digi and some others. That video did 11 views. I know more than 11 of y'all, so that's interesting. I think sometimes maybe videos didn't go out, or they just maybe straight up fell flat. And that's something I'll have to work on going into this next year. But then Year of Shadow, second trailer drops in June for like Shadow Generations. The Dark Beginnings is coming, and we kind of pivoted to putting more Sonic stuff out finally. I've loved Sonic, the franchise and stuff. I've been into it forever. I've never really done stuff about it because, the 2010s when it came to dealing with Sonic stuff was actually really annoying. I'm not gonna lie. There was always videos just roasting literally anything possible, and everything else you're just nostalgic. And it's just like, that's just annoying after a while. So I just avoided. There's some things that are probably great that happened maybe in the 2010s, right? Parodies perhaps, and fan dubs that are actually, entertaining, comedic, but not just making fun of the series the whole time. So maybe I'll have to go back and now in the 20s and look for stuff like that more proper. But that's what it was at the time. I technically did a Mephiles one because my Mephiles impression, some people consider it good enough. Like, hey, just do a Mephiles thing real quick. So I did this. That's why that popped up. But there's a lot of that. So there's still the backlog, and then interchanging that with putting out some Shadow stuff, because those were getting thousands of views. I'm like, okay, we can grow. We hit 2,500, in July, and we've passed 2,700 at the point of recording this video. I'm like, okay, there we go. But, still TTT 100, that 100th episode, 101 came out, and then we unfortunately hit August, where we have the unfortunate passing of Digi. Very unexpected, very unfair, and I'm not going to go into the details. If you don't know, but you did know Digi, and this is how you're finding out, the only thing I will confirm is he did not take his own life, which some people worried about was a possibility. That wasn't the case this time. It doesn't make it any better, actually, but it doesn't. There's some people that do take comfort in the fact that if he did have to go, like, at least it wasn't that at the same time. And it did impact the video. That's a friend of mine, and most likely if you're watching this video, a friend of yours that's never going to be around again. There were several videos, like the series is called TTT with Digi and Friends. It's 101 episodes. I named it that because he's in all 101 episodes, one way or the other. Sometimes he might have just been in the call because he was working on the server stuff while some of us played rounds. Some of the times he was in the beginning rounds and he had to go to work, and some of us continued on and he joined in a call back while he's at work. But yeah, that series, I attached TTT to him the most out of all the games we played for that reason. On top of, it was his idea to even interject TTT, and that's when a lot of us started interacting the most, is that app and then beyond, where we were kind of constantly in calls together from that point onwards. And sometimes, we'd eventually start playing other games together, and we get to know each other and have inside jokes and stuff now, based off of his decision to do that back in 2020. So, I credit him with a lot of that, but that was also unfortunate, because then it's like, obviously on YouTube format, it looks like here's the rest of the videos, but there was actually some time between this and this, because I didn't feel like that'd be correct to just keep dropping backlog videos and shadow videos and stuff when people were finding these videos and grieving and processing and leaving their own heartfelt comments and stuff about how they were going to miss them. And it was kind of a weird situation too, where like, you know, like if you're a mechanic and you just need like you time, I guess, something maybe has happened, or you maybe just woke up on the wrong side of the bed and you need to go work it out. You might go work on the engine of your car, or a spouse or someone else in the household's car. You just need to work with your hands or something like that, right? Or some people nowadays, maybe they'll go game. For me, it's editing. I'll go edit videos that I need to edit when I need to either just, even if it's something simple, like I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm like, let me go edit something instead of interact with people, so I don't accidentally say, you know, get upset with people that I'm not actually mad at, whatever. So this was an interesting one because this was a very serious situation, and I didn't feel like editing because I didn't feel like more videos should come out. And I think that was the right choice. I think if I just kind of tried to roll into making videos to entertain us and maybe get our spirits up, it would feel, I don't know, it just, at the time it felt like it would have been wrong. So I'm glad I made that call. But then we eventually did return to more backlog, more Shadow. Eventually Shadow Generations came out. We got it 3 days early, so we played through that. That was fun. I was hoping I could combine my YouTube knowledge with my Sonic knowledge and really make that pop. It did all right, though. You know, the Mephiles video did the best, apparently. People love them some Mephiles. Now they do. People used to hate on 06 in every avenue, including Mephiles in the old days. But now, at least Mephiles, the people love him. So there you go. And then I did the Sonic side, and then again, my magnum opus to go into November, December here. And then some more backlog stuff to kind of round it out. Some Sonic. I still need to see this. I'm dodging spoilers like crazy. Like I'm Neo in the Matrix. All right. I don't want to see anything ever if I can help it. But yeah, that's kind of our YouTube in review. I had different plans, and this is obviously, I'm not blaming him for dying. He didn't choose to die. If you know the details, I can't say no one chooses to, but you know, most people don't choose to. And it'll be great to have him to this day as we go into New Year's, which is usually something we call Digicon. So for those that are listening and are curious and don't know, New Year's, we call New Year's Digicon, essentially. How do I word this? So I'm going to use the word harassed here, but it wasn't like a negative. I guess would it be teasing then? Is teasing the positive version of harass? Women. So the running joke he would say is he's great with women. And the reason he would say that is because of how his interactions would go with them in things like VR chat or other places where it was usually a ton of teasing. And he would never know why. And we'd always say it's because of the vibe. Everyone has a vibe, to be fair, but his vibe, that's just, for some reason, when we come across people and say VR chat or something, that's what they would want to do. They'd lock onto him in their crosshairs. So Digicon was a running joke we started where it was like, well, what if we just basically invited all of them to like the New Year's map that VR chat makes, for example, and it's like a convention situation centered around Digi and his vibe, if you will, and the rest of us run like lemonade stands and make money on the side, selling tickets and whatnot, and we just watch the hilariousness and the comedy basically unfold as all this stuff fumbles together. So that's basically what that was. And so this will be the first year without him in there, but we did get a poster put together and we sent it to VR chat and they approved it, and it will be in the VR chat New Year's world this year. And I'll be making a video like I always do every New Year's. So at some point we'll be there and you'll see the poster in a video in the future. And yeah, so in a way he'll still be there. And that's the thing about people. They die when they're forgotten. Obviously in the physical sense, he's, you know, passed and we can't make new memories with him, but we have the old memories and we have things we can still do to remember him so that he's not forgotten. It obviously would be great if he was still around. 2025 looks like it's going to be a year, and having him with all of his goofiness, all of his cursedness, but all of his seriousness at times and all of his caringness at times, that's a hole that can't be filled by anyone else. Just like your hole, if you were, knock on wood, opposed to pass, unfortunately, hopefully not anytime soon, but that's kind of how that works. The idea is the hole, hopefully it's smaller over time. Hopefully time, you know, doesn't necessarily make it go away. Grieving is a lifelong process, but eventually, hopefully we'll be able to look back more fondly instead of more miserably. I think the holidays didn't necessarily help because, you know, you look at the holidays, you look at Thanksgiving or Christmas, that are kind of like family and friend oriented, and there's one less, and that's unfortunate. But, you know, maybe like January doesn't have any like major holidays, you know. February, I guess, is like Valentine's Day perhaps. But for most of us, president, like in the States, President's Day, we're not going to be like, oh man, I wish Digi was here for President's Day. I mean, kind of, because it would mean he was alive, but you know what I mean? It's like, so maybe going into the year, that was going to help a bit more than, oh hey, Thanksgiving, a time of gathering and socializing and friendship and thankfulness. Oh, Christmas of all, you know, it's like, yeah, that probably didn't help too much for some people at the moment. But I do think what does help is we keep him alive, right? This Zervis video that came out 2 weeks ago has him in it, and it's not because he's secretly been alive this whole time. This video I just haven't edited since August, and I left the parts of him in a lot for that reason. So unfortunately, that's the last backlog footage I have of him, but it's not like the last time, you know, anyone will ever hear about him, right? That's one of my new goals with the channel, is eventually when we grow, you know, I want to be able to take care of my friends and family and also now tell stories about him. That's how that works. So that's how it's going to be. And yeah, I'll prep to get y'all out of here. This video might end up being another 20 minutes, just like last year. Maybe that's just the thing, but obviously something significant happened that needed to be more properly talked about. But I hope you're taking care of yourself. I hope you're all doing well. As for the Digi videos that I did say would become like the remastered videos, that's going to come in 2025. I wanted to maybe put them out this year, or at least start this year, but then I also want to make sure I'm in a place where I can really give them justice as I re-edit those and kind of remaster them, if you will. And for now, it's kind of like, let's just get out of this year first. This year kind of sucked. Even before his passing, like some other people lost relatives and people, and the beginning of the year, even for some people, wasn't that great. And so I kind of felt guilty for a bit, because the beginning of my 2024 was actually kind of great, compared to the last, say, like 10 years where there was just stuff I ain't going to get into. But this was one of the first years where it was like, okay, let's see how this goes. And then, you know, we hit summer. But for my friends, they were going through, like I said, Mitchie got hit by the tornado. Some people lost several relatives even. But there's others that lost at least one, which is one too many if you care about people, you know. And here's hoping 2025, at least no deaths, you know, no deaths, no dismemberments, no physical injuries. Really the bare minimum you would hope for, but apparently that's even too much to ask nowadays of the years as they go on. So, you know, it is what it is. I think about the fact that, you know, it kind of is a bittersweet if my channel does take off, if we really grind this out over this next year. There's one less person that's going to be at the mountaintop to witness it, which was kind of the point, is to bring everybody up with me. But the rest of the squad's still there, and we can always continue celebrating each other as well as him, and that's good to know. But I'm going to end the video. Thank you so much for watching the video. No like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. It's just, we'll see you in 2025, where there will probably be more backlog and more single-player stuff as I kind of practice my individual craft all over again. I've gotten a bit rusty, that's for sure. We'll see what happens, but Happy New Year. At the time of recording this video, we hit our $1,000 goal for Thankmas for charity, and I couldn't thank anybody enough if you just swung through, chilled, lurked, chatted, donated, and anything in between. So, you have a good one, have a good year, goodbye 2024, and we'll see you in the next year.